Hello everyone. Before we get started, just like to state, like, share, and subscribe, and let's get on with it, shall we? As you can see, nothing in there, it's unloaded. I even have the bolt removed. Cool beans. This is a review of my Savage 11 Scout. This is just my personal opinion. Other people might have different experiences. Alrighty then. Let's start with just general features. It has 3 mounting points for a sling. It has auxiliary sights, forward mounted optic, as a good scout rifle should. It has up there a muzzle brake. Let's move that out of the way. This is a Accu stock. It has a adjustable trigger. It came from where I bought it with an excellent trigger setting, so I didn't need to adjust that. Here we have the adjustable cheek piece, which I have adjusted to me, and adjustable length of pull. I have it on one of its lowest settings. I do not have very long arms. Alrighty then. The bolt, as you can see here, runs fairly well, fairly smoothly. I've never had an issue with it, with one exception, of which I will get into. Up here, as the optic, I have a Crossfire 2 by Vortex. With it, I add this little bit on the end as a little cover. The sling I have is just a simple Allen sling. It's worked just fine for me for a while. The optic is very nice. It runs fairly well. Now, niceties away, let's get into it. The bolt feeds reliable, runs very smoothly, and it feeds reliably, except for an issue with these. The magazines aren't cheap. Here's one loaded if you want to see that. They aren't cheap. However, they are sold as a 10-round magazine. I have yet to buy one of these, and it actually holds 10 rounds. If you load, it will load 10 rounds, but it will not feed properly with 10 rounds. You have to load 9. So I generally refer to it as my 9-round magazine, not to get confused. This bit on the end has an occasional habit of bending, and with these running $80 or more, first one I bought was $60. I ended up buying 2 more, and they'd gone up to $80. Not very nice on the price end, and it does not function as advertised. Alrighty then. The muzzle brake up there is not very good at reducing recoil impulse. I imagine if I had bought this without a muzzle brake attached, I'd feel little to no difference. Over here, running scout drills with this, it has run very well after I got past the magazine issue. I do not mind the recoil of 308 in a light package, so this doesn't affect me. One issue I've heard people have with this is the way you remove the bolt. To remove it, you have to pull the trigger back, and then this little button here, and that releases trigger. So it takes it's a 2-handed process. It is, once you get used to it though, it ain't too bad. Magazines rock in And a lot of people are used to just kind of shoving them in there. They rock in from the back here and then up. Latch into place, and the bolt must be open for it to seat correctly. It does run effectively, and I have enjoyed running scout drills with this. This is a very fantastic interpretation of a scout rifle. Over here we have the ammo. I'll bring this over. I tested with it. From best at the top to the least well performing on the bottom. I only had 9 rounds left of the PMC bronze by the time of testing, so that's what I loaded in here as my magazine I have on hand. It still performed fairly decently, but not as well as the Remington Express Core Locked. Right there in the middle was the Aquila 150 grain, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've heard Aquila, I've heard Aguila. I'm not too sure on that. Probably messing the name up. It had good groupings with the Remington. There's some of that there. Here's some of the Aquila. So, these are the 3 I tested. These are all very reasonably priced. Cool beans, cool beans. Move back over here. Now, I am not sighted in the auxiliary sights. I cannot afford the amount of ammo I would need to steadily sight these in. I like auxiliary iron sights, and when I have the available of it, I will use them exclusively. However, in this particular case, they are not the easiest to adjust, as I do not have the amount of ammo I would need to do that. You have to untighten a screw and retighten it back down, progressively just inching it over and over and over until it's in an appropriate position. I suppose if you're very experienced doing that, you could do it fairly quickly. But the iron sights I'm used to are easy to adjust, so since I had the optic available, that's what I just used. At some point I will adjust those. As it stands, they're not the easiest to adjust. However, looking down the sights, they are fairly nice. Easy to gain target acquisition. The stock is synthetic, definitely feels synthetic, but the nice stippling here is very pleasant. Gives you a good grip without digging into your hand. I guess out of rating this, I would give it a 4 out of 5. The only major issue being these magazines. Alrighty then. I do not mind the recoil of 308, so the muzzle brake issue is not particularly, my pardon, an issue for me. The best performing ammo was the Remington, and overall, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone looking to get a quick handling light bolt gun for property defense and hunting. Alrighty then. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your time. See you around.